Hear ye, hear ye. Calling Julie Albert to the stand. Buckle up for this one. Notice how tense she gets.
When I asked you
yesterday
how often you talked to Courtney Proctor, you could have chosen any word in the English language to answer that question, correct?
Correct.
What was the word that you chose?
It was 15 hours ago.
Not often. I don't remember,
How about
honestly.
rarely?
Rarely, yes.
That was your word, correct?
It could have been. I don't really recall. I don't recall.
You don't recall telling this jury yesterday that when I asked you about how often you spoke to Courtney Proctor by phone, you said, well, rarely.
I don't remember.
Girl,
your
get some
definition
ginkgo
of
biloba
rarely?
or something.
Not daily. Not daily, not... Yes.
Once in a blue moon?
No.
Rarely doesn't mean to you 67 phone conversations within a 7-month period, does it?
A 67 time period in how many? 8 months?
In about 7 months, 67
He
times.
clearly said 7 months.
It's not a lot. I wouldn't think it's a lot in 7 months.
3 times in one day? Is that rarely?
No, but I'm not. That wasn't every day.
Girl, why are you quivering?
You were finally interviewed by Trooper Proctor on February 10th, about 13 days after John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's lawn, correct?
Correct.
And you told Courtney Proctor that you were nervous to speak to her brother, Trooper Proctor, about this case. Do you remember that?
I do not remember those exact words, no.
All right. But you were nervous to speak to him, correct?
Of course, I was nervous in general for a police interview. I mean, I don't know someone who wouldn't be.
All right, I have to stop you right there. Around the same time frame, I saved my neighbor from having his life taken. I was a wreck. I was hounding 911 and kept calling the police department. I could not wait to give them all of the information that I had. Because I was innocent. And maybe that's why I feel so strongly about this case. Okay, enough about me. Back to you, Jules.
Were you worried that one of Trooper Proctor's colleagues might ask to speak to your son, Colin, about what had happened on the 28th and the 29th?
Objection.
Watch how her body language
Was I
changes
nervous
here.
they would ask my son?
Yeah, were you nervous that one of the investigators in this case might approach your son to ask him about his whereabouts?
No.
Look how tense she gets.
In any case, you were interviewed at 5:30 p.m. on February 10th, correct?
Correct.
Where did that interview take place?
At my home in Canton.
Who was present for that interview?
Me, my husband, Trooper Proctor, and Trooper Bukaki.
Michael Proctor agreed to interview you and your husband together, correct?
Objection.
Interesting.
You and your husband were interviewed together, correct?
Correct.
Did either of these troopers, including Michael Proctor, suggest that maybe the two of you should be separately interviewed?
I don't recall. I don't remember.
When did the interview take place? It wasn't particularly lengthy, correct?
What do you define lengthily? I don't recall. I don't remember how long it was
Lengthy.
exactly.
It didn't go into the evening, correct?
No.
Then at 6:17 p.m. that same night, shortly after you had been interviewed, you called Michael Proctor's personal cell phone number, correct?
I don't remember.
Girl, get some ginkgo
Did that reflect
bilobas.
your memory about those 2 phone calls on February 10th?
I mean, I just read them, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Sure.
You called Trooper Proctor at 6:17 p.m., and it appears to be a 5-second phone call. Did you see that?
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you recall that Trooper Proctor called you back that same day at 6:21 p.m. and that you spoke for about 4 minutes?
Objection, Your Honor.
But I
Do
want to know
you deny
why.
speaking to
Why
Trooper
isn't this
Proctor
getting
for
let
4
in?
minutes when he called you from his personal cell phone on February 10th of 2022 after you had been interviewed that day?
No, I don't deny it, but I don't remember it.
When did you get his personal cell phone number?
Don't remember.
Of course you don't.
Years ago?
I'm sure, yes.
Because you've known that family for a long time.
Yes, I have.
As you testify here today, you can't remember what that phone call would have been about, correct?
No, I do not remember.
Okay, I think you testified yesterday that Jennifer McCabe is one of your best friends.
Correct.
And Courtney Proctor is also one of your best friends, correct?
She's not one of my best friends, no. She's a good friend. She's not one of my best friends, no. She's my sister's best friend.
Gotcha. Okay, so your sister
My sister Jillian, yes.
Jillian is best friends with Courtney Proctor, and you're close friends with her, but not best friends.
Correct.
They start talking about Karen Reed here.
But after she started dating John, you would see her driving in and out of the street, correct?
Yes.
You'd see her taking groceries in, correct?
Yes.
Because you were neighbors with John.
Yes.
And it was the fact that you'd see her around, taking groceries in and out of the house and being outside with the kids that led you to believe that she was not only connected to John, but also to his house on Meadows Ave, correct?
Yes.
And you would see her interacting with the kids outside, correct?
Yes.
She would be participating in family-type activities with the kids outside?
Yes.
And you'd see her enough that you assumed that she was living there, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you stated that you had known her or seen her for maybe about a year and a half or so. Is that a good estimate?
Yes.
And in all the time that you saw her in the neighborhood or had any contact with her and John, you never saw the two of them fight or argue, correct?
No.
You never heard them fight or argue, correct?
No.
And you had been out with them in a group setting a handful of times, correct?
Just a couple of times.
And during those times, they always appeared to get along, correct?
Yes.
And you knew of no problems in their relationship, correct?
No.
You testified on direct examination that Chris came home at 12:10 a.m. on January 29th.
That's what time I believe he did, yes.
Okay. That 12:10 a.m. time, did you discuss that precise time with anybody prior to taking the stand yesterday?
No.
Was that coordinated with anybody such that your husband and you gave the same time at 12:10 a.m.?
No.
I swear it's John every time those sirens go off, sounding the alarm.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play the Waterfall Valley video. I think it's Exhibit 53, just that portion, 12.
Okay.
January 28th, you had plans with your sister-in-law, Nicole, correct?
Yes.
You are close with Nicole.
Yes, I am.
You picked her up at her home in your car.
Yes.
You drove her to the waterfront, correct?
Correct.
And the two of you went for dinner there.
Yes.
Your husband, Chris, came later.
Yes.
Brian Higgins came later.
Yes.
And you knew Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes.
Danny, I'm going to stop you for one
Yes.
second. Okay, what just happened right there? Why did Bev just stop the testimony? Abruptly. What's going on? And listen to this part about Brian Albert and Brian Higgins being the best of friends. Remember when Higgies told us they weren't?
Brian Albert, you didn't hesitate to say that they were friends, correct?
Correct.
It was very clear that they were friends, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the two of them arrived at the bar together, correct?
Yes.
And it didn't surprise you to see the two of them together, correct?
No.
Now, here's where it gets weird. I mean, all of it's weird. And this is a couple hours after John O'Keefe was found murdered on the Alberts lawn.
Repeat that once more, please.
At some point, it was decided among the seven of you that Jennifer McCabe should contact Michael Lank of the Canton Police Department.
I don't remember who exactly Jennifer decided. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the discussion.
You knew Michael Lank, correct?
Yes.
And at 8:53 a.m., you sent to Jennifer McCabe Michael Lank's personal cell phone number, correct?
Correct.
And did you then see Jennifer McCabe delete that text message from you?
Objection.
I'll sustain that.
Of course you will, Bev. Of course. And we're still in weird
You were
territory.
contacted by the Massachusetts State Police this year about your phone, correct?
Correct.
They left you a voicemail on March 21st of 2024?
The state police
Yes?
about my telephone?
Well, they left you a voicemail on March 21st of 2024. You've had contact with the state police this year.
Yes.
And they left you a second voicemail on March 25 and then called you again on March 28.
Yes.
You told them that you were sick and you would speak to them on April 1st, correct?
Correct.
And then the state police called you on April 1st, but you did not pick up. Do you recall that?
I do not.
They called you again that same day and you didn't respond, correct?
I don't recall.
But you did learn that they had called your husband on April 1st looking for you, correct?
I don't recall.
All right. After speaking with your husband, you texted the Massachusetts State Police on April 1st, correct?
I think around that, I don't know the exact date.
All right. And you finally met with the Massachusetts State Police on April 3rd of 2024, correct?
I would assume, I don't know the exact date, but yes.
And during that meeting, the state police looked through your phone for contact that you would have had with Michael Proctor, correct?
Correct.
Did they seize your phone?
No, they did not.
Did they tell you that they had a search warrant for your phone?
No, they did not.
Did they take it back saying that they had to give it to some experts to do an extraction?
Objection.
Sustained.
They just looked through it after you handed it to them, correct?
Correct.
Then they gave it back.
Yes.
And now talking
When
about her son calling.
Was at 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022, correct?
January 28th. The Friday.
So is it your testimony that you know that Colin left on Friday night as opposed to after midnight on January 29th?
I don't understand what you're asking.
What just occurred
What
is
is
I
so
asked you,
confusing?
whether you knew that your son Colin was at your sister-in-law Nicole's and your brother-in-law Brian Albert's house on January 29th, and you just corrected.
I'm sorry, it was after midnight.
Okay.
So I got confused. I apologize.
Not a problem. So the answer to my question is you learned that he was there on January 29th, correct?
Yes, after midnight.
And you now know that that is the same house outside which John O'Keefe was found dead that morning, correct?
Yes, I do.
And one last question. You were interviewed by Trooper Proctor, and it's fair to say you never told him that Colin was there that night, correct?
I don't recall my interview.
Of course you don't. I just want to drive home the fact that these people are all family. Blood. So when you hear people say, oh, okay, 25 cops are getting together to lie about something. Yeah, not 25, 4 blood. Family. Okay? And if I see Coffindaffer yapping about this one more time, oh my God. I used to like her. She's dead to me now. Not smart, not credible.